I had one of the managers from Iridium that I really, really like. He's from the Wisconsin area originally, and he hits me up. He's like, Morgan Sickinger, huh? Morgan Sickinger or Jake Klemme? He's like, did you give Morgan somebody he can beat? And I was like, absolutely not. Let me tell you exactly what I gave Morgan. I'm a sucker for milestones in your career. Mm-hmm. I've said that. I love debuts. I love pro debuts. I love first title fight. I love retirement fights, right? I think that if you fought for a really long time and you've made a name, in the game, that you deserve more than a fairgrounds fucking bullshit ending. Mm-hmm. Right? I just truly believe that.
Yeah.
As much as you can. So, Jake Klemme, he's one of the old school MFS guys, Joe Jordan, fought back in the day. You trained with him how many times? You trained with him, and the guy...
Jake Klemme's my first fight ever.
Yeah, right? Weird. Well, I was going to get to that. So it's weird. So Jake Klemme, though, he's that guy that, man, it's been a fucking tough week. I don't have a fight coming up, but I'm going to sparring Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? I just want to fucking punch somebody. I want... And Jake's one of those guys that, same thing, his last couple fights, it's been a while now, but he just wants to go in there and fight, right? But unfortunately, the last two guys that we matched him up with, they did not want anything to do with that.
Yeah.
So what they did was, one guy in particular, Jake stood in the center of the cage, come on, and he would not engage. He then jumped on his back, and Jake's standing there, and he's just holding him on his back. And then Anthony Bacam was all ground. So Jake's like, man, my last two fights of my career are guys that didn't want to fight me. Mm-hmm. That's stupid, right? I'm like, that time will come. We talked briefly about it in March. I could kind of tell that things weren't all the way engaged.
Right.
And that's what you need. Obviously, you guys know, you got to be all in. Mm-hmm. And he was all in for October. So in the meantime, I met a lot of fighters in the Wisconsin area during COVID because their governors and whatever were bitches. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of these guys couldn't fight, man, and it was their life. So I was introduced to a lot of gyms and coaches and teams and stuff in the Wisconsin area, and I met a guy named Morgan Sickinger, who is we have guys in Iowa that had a million fights and they fought everybody.
Oh yeah.
And the reason that the guy from Iridium said that, did you get him somebody he can beat, is because his last handful of fights have been studs, man. To the like
one of them was Wisely.
Yeah. Jonas Flock, studs, man. Fighting guys that are on the cusp of the UFC type shit because he'll fight anybody. Right. And to me, I didn't want. Oh, and he says, hey, I want to have my retirement fight with Caged Aggression. And the first thing I think is well, why wouldn't you want to do that at home? That's a big milestone. Well, he started working for the Athletic Commission.
Yeah.
It's a perfect transition for him because he loves the sport. He's a coach, a gym owner. He's the definition of MMA, and he wants to stay involved in the sport.
Yeah.
And that's you either open a gym, start an MMA promotion, or work for the commission. You know what I mean? Right. So he starts working, and they say you can't fight in Wisconsin anymore because you work for the commission, but you can still fight in other states. Well, he chose us, which is super cool, man. I always feel humbled when people do that. So the idea that I get two guys that are true 15, 20-year veterans, that both want to retire at the same time with Caged Aggression, man, that's special to me.
Yeah.
But again, nobody gets an easy fight, right?
Even if it's your last one, yeah.
I mean, Morgan is not only coaching, but cross-training at all these different gyms and all these different, he's very, very well-rounded. And he's fighting a guy that is also well-rounded, but doesn't want to do that. He wants to come out and fight, right?
Yeah.
So either guy can absolutely win this fight. I mean, I would love more than anything if they met in the middle and let it all go for one last time. But at the end of the day, I know they both want to get their hand raised. And I'm just really thankful that they chose us. And I think it's going to be a great end to that chapter of their lives. And I think it's a show and a fight and a presentation and everything that they both deserve. And man, I appreciate them both for letting me do it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight. Like you said, both retirement fights on Caged Aggression. I've heard of Morgan before back a while ago, and then I had to refresh myself on him recently and seeing, he's, like you said, he's fought some who's, you know what I mean?
Man,
he hasn't lost. He went to decision with Mike
guys.
Richmond back in the day. And that says something right there. That says something right there. And then we got Jake Klemme, who I've known for a while. He hasn't fought for a while. I'm ready to see what he can do on his last fight in there. I mean, we're talking to the guy who hit me the very first time ever, and I felt it in my toes, and with 16-ounce gloves, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I mean, it's...
He probably had a bad day at work. He probably had a bad day at work.
I looked at him, my eyes were watering, and because he hit me hard enough, I felt it in my toes, and he's laughing at me. I go, fuck, what am I doing right now? It was a young time in my career.
It doesn't matter how hard you hit him, he's going to laugh at you.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's great. I'm ready to see what both these guys can do at the stage in their career and who's going to walk out with that one last W. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think it's a great fight.
So what weight is this at?
These guys are fighting at 150.
150, okay.
Yep.
Klemme's always been that guy that wants to challenge himself with weight cuts as well.
Bro, I saw one that looked like Christian Bale. Like, I saw one picture. He's like 135 or some shit.
Yeah, dude. He's a wild man for that.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. That fight is going to be crazy, man. Like,
it's going to be great.
I love it.
Yeah.
And Jake's going to bring a lot of folks. And
a lot of old school people are going to be in the crowd.
Yeah, man. A lot of Amsterdam Gentlemen's Club folk. And, like...
Ryan Antle going to be there.
I was literally just going to say that. Them guys have been boys for, decades.
Yeah.
And, man. Klemme is the man. He's just like a real blue-collar guy that just wants to fight, loves to get punched in the face, and loves to hit people as hard as he possibly can.
Yeah.
I never fought a day in my life before I fought him. And we knuckled down and fucking threw. And in the third round, he ended up getting me. He ended up taking my back, and I remember him having me in a fucking rear naked choke, and I was staring at my friends through the ring, and I didn't know what to do. But for whatever reason, I was not fucking choking out. Like I was just staring at my friends, like I don't know what to do. Like this motherfucker took me down. I don't even know what wrestling is.
Yeah.
And he ended up winning a decision. But then, we trained together for years and years. And there was always like this thing between us where we just punched the shit out of each other. It was like a battle of who could hit each other harder. Yeah. And he'd always be laughing. And, I'd always laugh back because, I had to.
You couldn't do anything else.
I had no other choice.
No, that's going to be a fun one, man.
This is going to be a good one. Good one for the ages, man, because they're both well experienced. And Morgan's 37 years old. Jake's probably pushing 40, 39, maybe 40 years old. So it's going to be the battle of the fossils,
and what the other thing, too, is like super busy dudes in the real world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Business owners and coaching and Jake's got the shop and trying to train, and he's got like 5 kids, and everybody's so busy. So,
high school sports with Jake.
Yeah. To commit to this and to us and it's just awesome, man. It's a special fight for me, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like both guys get the mic that night after the fight, their farewell, and it's very, very cool.
Yeah.